Yo, what's good fellas? Welcome to the Paralyzer Movement Guide tutorial. And this video, I'm going to teach you everything you'll need to know about moving around with Paralyzer, how to get speed, and just how movement works on Buried, and how you can save a lot of time on movement in your speedruns. So before we start in the video, I'm going to show you what you're looking at on your screen. So on the left side, this number that you're seeing that's moving with this graph is my velocity meter. So it's how much speed I have moving around in game. So if I stop moving, it's at 0. It's to show my movement, and it's a good way to show how much speed you have in game to improve moving around. So for my keyboard layout, so you'll notice that I'm on a French keyboard. So instead of WASD, I have ZQSD, so just not get confused. And just for my weapon swaps, instead of using scroll wheel, which is what everyone else uses, I use mouse button, you see it's being highlighted, and F to swap my weapons. Apart from that, every other weapon or every other button to move around is the same. So going into this video, I'm going to assume you know the basics of movement. I assume you've done speedruns of Buried before, and that you're watching this video in order to improve at Paralyzer movement in particular, and to just save time on movement. If you have any problems on learning movement in BO2, you can check out Jett's video about BO2 movement. I think he did a great job. In this video, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about Paralyzer movement and go into detail. And before we continue, make sure that you go into your options and that your FPS limit is at 90. The movement slightly varies depending on your frame rate, and for Paralyzer, the frame rate is very dependent on 90 FPS. Alright, so starting off, I'm going to show you strafing, how strafing works in this game. So if you've played Counter-Strike or any source games made by Valve, strafing is a really important tech that you need to learn for movement. And it goes for the same in Black Ops 2 and other zombies games. So all you need to know is that when going forwards, strafing to the side, right and left will build you a bit of speed. If I run straight forwards, you'll see my velocity meter will say I run at 285 speed. If I do some strafes on the ground, you'll see I go up to 338, which is much faster. Now moving on, now I'm just going to talk about strafe jumps, which is literally just strafing and then jumping afterwards. It's nothing it's nothing hard. This is very important to learn for Paralyzer jumps because this is where you'll get most of your speed, and this is where you'll preserve the speed for your Paralyzer movement. So for a clean strafe jump, you need to let's say you're going to jump this direction, you're going to look away around 90 degrees, either to the right or to the left. It depends on which direction you want to go. And just go in a smooth motion like facing forwards, and just jump at the peak of the jump. Next up, I'm going to talk about animation canceling. So you can animation cancel in a lot of different ways, but for this one, I'm just going to talk about canceling the animations of your guns. So you see that long animation that Paralyzer did by pulling it out. So we're going to be canceling the animation of running. So as you can see, when I stop running, you'll see the Paralyzer do this tiny motion in front of me. So if I sprint and I start shooting, you'll see how there's a tiny delay between me stopping sprinting and then shooting, as you can see on the input viewer. But instead, if I do an animation cancel by double swapping the weapon, just swapping twice, so you can see I'll sprint and double swap, and the animation will be completely canceled and I shoot instantly. Compared to if I shoot, and you'll see a tiny delay between me shooting. If I double weapon swap, the delay is just completely removed. So it's going to be essential to learn, because this specific tech is what you're going to need to learn for Paralyzer jumps and how Paralyzer jumps exist in the first place. Alright, so now moving on to Paralyzer jumps. So this is literally every tech I've shown you into one. So you're going to be strafing, you're going to be strafe jumping, and you're going to be double weapon swapping to cancel animation so that you can shoot your Paralyzer as soon as possible. And it all goes in one smooth motion. Strafe jump, double weapon swap, and shoot. Alright, so right here I put the game in slow-mo, so I put 0.25 times speed. So to show in slow motion how the movement of Paralyzer jump will work. So you're going to be, let's say I go this direction, so I'm going to look away around 90 degrees. I'm going to go and do my strafe, and at the peak I jump, double weapon swap, and then shoot as soon as possible. Now there is a variation of a Paralyzer Jump that's been called the flow method for some reason, I don't know. So what this consists of is doing, instead of a strafe jump, double weapon swap and then shooting the Paralyzer afterwards. You do the strafe, and during the strafe you swap the Paralyzer once, and then when you jump you swap it a second time, so that instead of timing 2 weapon swap inputs at the same time, you only have to input once for the jump. So it looks like this. So I'm going to show you in slow motion again. So instead of, like I said, strafe jump, jumping, double weapon swap and shooting, this is strafe, swap once, once you jump, swap the second time, and then you jump. Now this is the method that I mostly use to move around and do paralyzer jumps with, but it is also very important because you can get a lot of height using this method. And getting a lot of height depending on where you are in the map is very important. So for example, if I want to go from where I am here to this spot above the box, if I do a regular paralyzer jump, I could probably get up there, but it's going to be very hard because I need to time the 2 inputs, double weapon swaps, very precisely. And yeah, I'm just not getting any height to get to the thing. If I do flow method, I just have to input once, and most of the time I'll make it up there. I almost reached it there. You do a better job of timing and you can reach the jump right there. So that's how you do paralyzer jumps. Now I'm going to show you a couple tips that will be really helpful during paralyzer jumps. One thing that's very important is that you're able to crouch mid-air, and that does shrink your hitbox in the air. So if you see me fly in the air, you can see me crouching. Now it's not the same as in source games where crouching will make you go higher in game or in the air. Instead you go lower. So let's say for this gap right here, it's very important that you crouch mid-air because this gap can be like a bit of a hassle to get into, and you might bonk your head on the ceiling trying to get there. And if you crouch in the air, it doesn't guarantee it, but it helps a lot to fill in smaller gaps, and that's very useful for pretty much everywhere I'm buried. Not even paralyzer jumps, just in general. Another important thing is knowing how to stop your vertical momentum when flying upwards with the paralyzer. So you see, if I'm flying upwards, you can see I just keep flying upwards until paralyzer even like eventually stops, or when I bonk in the ceiling. But if I fly upwards and then I stop shooting midair and then start shooting again afterwards, you can see how I'm able to stop my vertical momentum and stay at a similar height. This is very useful for this jump right here. If I did the flow method and I stopped and I keep continually shooting, I might bonk my head on the ceiling or just not make the jump at all. So what I do is I do flow method and then I stop shooting to get to a certain height and then try and feign the gap. I didn't do it that time, but I'll show you this one. Yeah, that's what a successful one looks like. Something else that's also very important is knowing how to strafe in the air. So it's not only just you fly with the paralyzer and you go in one single direction. You can change your direction in the air, you just need to learn how to do it. And in order to do that, you need to hold forwards on your keyboard and then strafe either to the left using your left key or your right with the right key, and then you slowly aim your mouse towards that direction. If you go too fast, you see the character just doesn't go in the direction, or you even lose speed in the process. And if you go too slow, then you just won't be going the direction fast enough. Yeah, you just have to get a feel for it. It took me a while to get used to. And if you really master it, you can even build some speed. You can see my speed right now. I'm up to 400 when I usually had like 300 speed to do the jump. You can even build some speed if you're really accurate with it. One thing I almost forgot to mention is a way to save a lot of ammo using the paralyzer. So you see how I'm flying up and I'm just holding down, but you can also replicate the same thing by just tapping the mouse, and you see I'm still flying up and doing the same thing. You save a ton of ammo doing that. And it's not even just paralyzer movement, it's also for these crystal orbs. Usually you just shoot at them with the paralyzer to charge them, but even if you tap fire, it'll go as fast, maybe even faster sometimes, and you save a ton of ammo doing that. So now I'm going to explain to you how you can practice this Paralyzer movement. So as you can see, I'm right here. I'm on run 1. I have Paralyzer, and there's no zombies, and it's very easy. All you need to do is hop in the solo bird game, go in the console, and type SV cheats, and then put that number to 1 to activate cheats. Then you're going to type AI disable spawn, and then put that to 1. And after you do that, you can do give space slogan underscore ZM, which will give you the Paralyzer weapon. I will leave these console commands in the description, and make sure you're on Plutonium. If you're not on Plutonium, you don't have access to the console. But yeah, once you've done these console commands, now you're available to run all around buried and just have no zombies in your way and just practice Paralyzer movement until you've mastered it pretty much. Final thing I'll leave you for the tutorial is routes or Paralyzer jumps that you can do in the speedrun. So you can hop in a game to try and practice and try to replicate these jumps. I even left some variations that are less risky or just safer to do depending on how good you are with your movement. But that's gonna be it from me. If this video helps you out, make sure to drop a like and even subscribe, that helps me out. And I do stream speedruns on Twitch, so if you want to follow me there and watch me try and get world record back, then please hop in chat and give me some good luck or something. Anyways, I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.